Elon Musk just announced a new timeline for when he expects to appoint a new Twitter CEO. He also made a few other important remarks, so let's take a listen.
I mean, you've been running Twitter as the chairman, as the owner, as the CEO, and that's take a lot of time. Did you identify a CEO and when you are going to hire him?
Well, I think I need to stabilize the organization and just make sure it's in a financially healthy place, and that the product roadmap is clearly laid out. So I don't know. I'm guessing probably towards the end of this year would be good timing to find someone else to run the company, because I think it should be in a stable position around at the end of this year.
Many of us were hoping, including Gary Black, that Twitter CEO announcement would happen this quarter. I mean, when I look at the poll that Elon Musk did, should I step down as the head of Twitter, I will abide by the results of his poll. It sounded to me that he's implying he would step down soon if the result was yes, which it was. And then especially after he made this comment here, I will resign as CEO as soon as I find someone foolish enough to take the job. After that, I will just run the software and servers teams. I think everyone was thinking, yeah, it's happening early in the first quarter of 2023. Gary Black has updated his assumption, and now he assumes it will be announced this year, but in the second part of this year. I think, because this is Elon's time, I would not really assume that it will happen this year. More likely next year than at the end of this year.
I mean, one thing I should say, and I know this is called the World Government Summit, but I think we should be maybe a little bit concerned about actually becoming too much of a single world government. If I may say, that we want to avoid creating a civilizational risk by having, frankly, this may sound a little odd, too much cooperation between governments. If you look at, say, at history and the rise and fall of civilizations, that really all throughout history, civilizations have risen and fallen, but it hasn't meant the doom of humanity as a whole, because there've been all these separate civilizations that were separated by great distances. And so, say like while Rome was falling, Islam was rising, and so you had like the sort of caliphate doing incredibly well while Rome was doing terribly. And that actually ended up being a source of preservation of knowledge and many scientific advancements. And so, so I think we want to be a little bit cautious about being too much of a single civilization, because if we are too much of a single civilization, then if the whole thing may collapse. I'm obviously not suggesting war or anything like that, but I think we want to be a little bit wary of actually cooperating too much. It sounds a little odd, but we want to have some amount of civilizational diversity, such that if something does go wrong with some part of civilization, that the whole thing doesn't collapse, and humanity keeps moving forward.
To me, there is almost nothing more fascinating than the rises and falls of civilizations. You can see here, for example, the Egyptians. They were really important, and then as time went by, they basically faded completely, almost disappearing. And then, for example, Greeks became important. Then the Romans became super big. Then the Mongols. And all of these empires rise and then fall. And you would think US is super important, but looking at this, yeah, it's not that significant when you look at all of the history.
Elon, you've been working very hard. I mean, since 6 years ago we met, you look much younger, by the way, than 6 years ago.
Thanks. You look great too.
But I know that you've been working for almost 20 hours a day. You sleep in the sofa in the office, maybe Twitter office, Tesla office. You told me once I was with you at Tesla's office. How do you balance your life? I mean, with this stress, with so many different, you're in so many different company parallel, how do you balance it?
Well, I mean, I should point out that a 20-hour workday is relatively unusual and rather painful. But I do sleep 6 hours a night. So, and if I sleep less than 6 hours a night, I find that I might be awake longer, but I get less done.
I find the same thing to be true for me as well. I try to sleep 6 hours a day, maybe occasionally a little bit more. And I heard of a study from Dave Asprey that the people that live the longest only sleep 6 hours, 2 minutes per day on average. And this was a study based on millions of people, which I thought was quite interesting. And I was like, what? We only sleep 6 hours at that time. I was sleeping like 9 hours a day, probably maybe some days more. And I was like, should I sleep less? But the conclusion from that study was, if you sleep more than that, it's probably because maybe your health is not the best. If your health is very good, then you only need to sleep this little. So if you feel that you need to sleep more than 6 hours, sleep more than 6 hours. Do not try to sleep less. Elon is a very resilient and also healthy individual. He has good genes, so what he can do, many of us unfortunately cannot get away with. Last year, I worked a lot on my health, and as it improved, the need for sleep reduced. Now, if I sleep 6.5 hours, for example, I usually feel better than compared to how I felt before if I slept 9 or even 10 hours. Today, I slept 6 hours, and I feel great. Maybe I should make a video on what I did.
But I do work a ridiculous amount, I think, relative to most people, in that it's pretty much 7 days a week, and mostly from when I wake up to when I go to sleep. I'm not suggesting this is good for everyone, and I think, frankly, I would like to work a bit less than that. So, I think if I look at, say, Tesla went through some very difficult times where it was on the ragged edge of survival, and really, if I didn't give it everything I got, I think the company could have easily gone bankrupt. It was really on the verge of bankruptcy for quite a while. I don't mean to suggest complacency at this point, but it does require much less work to operate Tesla now versus, say, in the 2017 to 2019 timeframe. And it's not at mortal risk of survival. It's achieved economies of scale that make it, not on the ragged edge of survival.
That is one reason why I only own Tesla stock in my stock portfolio. Once I realized that Tesla stock is not at risk of disappearing because Tesla as a company would go bankrupt, that's when I went all in with my stock portfolio, which to me, that was early 2019, and then Tesla stock dropped about 50% from where I bought it. Yeah, that was not a great feeling. It's a little bit funny to me to watch the people that said, oh, I missed Tesla stock when it was close to $100. It's too late now. You are still getting a 47% discount if you buy today, basically, is what you are getting. This is still a great deal. Sure, it would have been nicer to buy exactly at the bottom, but the deal is still absolutely phenomenal.
And then SpaceX also has a strong team and is able to make a lot of progress, even if I spend less time there. It does help if I spend time there, but it keeps making progress even if I don't. Twitter is still somewhat of a startup in reverse, and so there's a lot of work required here to get Twitter to a sort of a stable position, and like I said, to really build the engine of engineering, of software engineering at Twitter, and have it really have, like I said, a great product roadmap and the people in place to implement that product roadmap. And so it is not my intention to work like crazy. I mean, I think I got be comfortable with a mere 80-hour work week would be fine.
All right.
And that is what I would aspire to.
80 hours a week is roughly how much I work right now, if you include making YouTube videos in that as well. And he calls it a mere 80 hours per week. I don't think I could do much more than that, and somehow Elon is able to do more than that.
UFO been shot, went over Alaska, Lake Huron, and Canada. Alien, no alien.
I don't think it's aliens, no.
Okay.
I mean, I do find the whole question of aliens a very interesting one. You know, what is typically called the Fermi paradox, which is that if the universe is really as old as science seems to think it is, and where are the aliens? Have we really been around for 13.8 billion years? If so, shouldn't there be aliens all over the place? The crazy thing is I've seen no evidence of alien technology or any alien life whatsoever. And I think I'd know. You know, SpaceX, we do a lot. I mean, I think I know. I don't think anyone knows more about space, you know, than me, or at least the space technology. But I think it's actually a troubling thing if there are no aliens as well, which is that what that actually could mean then is that sort of civilization and consciousness is like a tiny candle in a vast darkness, and a very vulnerable tiny candle that could easily get blown out. And I think we should therefore take great care with what may very well be this tiny candle in a vast darkness, and make sure that it does not go out, and that we extend the light of consciousness beyond Earth, and do everything we can to ensure that the light of consciousness does not go out.
And that is one of the main reasons why Elon Musk wants to colonize Mars. He wants to have an insurance policy for humanity just in case something goes very wrong. But on the flip side, if we do have aliens on Earth already, then Elon might as well be one of them. I mean, how else is he able to sleep so little, work so much, more than 80 hours per week, do things that are almost impossible, like put reusable rockets in space, start an electric vehicle company and be successful at it, while also running all of these other projects as well, like Neuralink and the Boring Company. And this is the Tesla stock buying opportunity explained by Elon Musk. My name is Matt. Like and subscribe if you haven't yet, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.